Hey, what's up? Are you one of the temporary residents here who are thinking of leaving Canada and just start a new life home? Or are you a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen who is already so much sick of the current system of Canada or the quality of life that you are now disappointed with? Or maybe you're an international student who is on the verge of giving up. Yeah, I can relate to you guys because sometimes even if I know that I still have a lot to do here to be able to get what I want, or I still have better chances of landing a job here and become a PR in the future if the God wills it, I still have occurring thoughts of going back to the Philippines. Not yet. I love my country, but I still want to go back to either Vietnam or work also in other countries where ESL teaching is in demand, like Japan, Taiwan, South Korea. Yeah, it's very tempting, especially nowadays that there are some employers who replied to my application and told me that they need my documents to verify if they could sponsor for my visa. And I know that I'd love the job if I go there. Plus, I'll be in a new country which is not that cold as Canada, and the salary would be rewarding. Hello, what's up guys? This is me again, V037, and for today's video, I just want to share to you some of the things that I sometimes think about, especially this winter season, that I'm not yet busy with work. Yes, I've been busy with a lot of online part-time things that I'm doing. I have this online booking business which I currently run with my friend in the Philippines, and I also have a part-time tutorial job which I barely do because sometimes I'm too tired already. But there is just this drive from me that really wants to work in an office because that's what I'm used to, or even in teaching. I mean, in the teaching department. Now, because I am most vacant, and because of this constant hunger to work, there are just some things on my mind that keeps telling me why not move to another country yet and leave Canada. Do you know that a lot of immigrants are now moving out of the country? It's not just because of the new immigration policies, but it already started way back 2020 and 2021. Even after the COVID pandemic has subsided, many immigrants have been leaving Canada, and the statistics shows that most of them are temporary foreign workers, and there are some who have already worked here and lived here for decades. Yes. And for today's vlog, I will be talking about the few reasons why many immigrants in Canada are thinking about leaving or have already left this promising country. If you want to know more about this and maybe you can relate to what I will be telling you in this vlog, please keep on watching. And again, I might just ask you to like this video and hit the subscribe button for you to be updated of some of the point of view vlogs, the POV vlogs that I will be making in the future. Stay tuned guys, thank you so much. It doesn't matter if you're again an international student, a landed immigrant, a temporary foreign worker who have been working in Canada for decades and not yet been granted a PR, or even if you're already a permanent resident. First, if you're already a Canadian citizen living here, you still have, I'm sure of it, you still have a lot to say of the quality of life that Canada has these days compared to it had been a decade ago. One of those people I mentioned are those in the same situation as me. I just want to share this vlog with you guys because I know that you can relate to what I'm thinking right now as to why there are thoughts coming to my mind just to leave Canada, maybe for a while or permanently, and just visit it sometime if I already have enough resources and funds, and of course with my family. Okay. Oh yeah, and especially if you're a visitor here, you have been promised that when you come to Canada, and it's not yet February 2025, you still have a lot of chance to look for jobs and convert your visitor status within Canada, just within Canada, to work permit. You also have the option of going to the border, flagpole, and get your work permit there. But when you came here right after August 28, 2024, your world just collapses, knowing the fact that you cannot do this anymore. If you might go to the border, it's already a life and death matter if you'd be approved out of compassion of the officer. And if you are planning to come here and just want to know some detail as to why immigrants are now leaving Canada, I mean, a lot of immigrants, even permanent residents and citizens, leaving Canada these days, this video is really for you. So, there are 3 reasons I listed, and there are subcategories per reason as to why I think these immigrants are really leaving. Naturally, guys, I already researched and watched a lot of videos. I came up with 3 reasons as to why they do it. The first one is the cost of living. Yes, one determinant if it's ideal to live in a country is knowing its cost of living. Guys, when I was in Vietnam, I was so happy because I was paid not as much as I'm here or as I was in the Philippines, but the game changer there is the cheap cost of living. It's a lot cheaper than where I was from, which is Philippines. My salary had only been like $1,200 to $1,400 a month depending on the overtime, but if I have to be honest with it, I only spent, with the rent already, guys, with the rent at home already, I only spent like not even half of it a month. Yes, and I was able to do part-time jobs which helped me really, live comfortably, more comfortable than in my home country. And to think that here it's kind of high, it's really tempting to go back to Vietnam and do the teaching job that I really love. But again, going back to the cost of living, I could tell you that it had been very hard for Canadian citizens and permanent residents to cope up with the increase in the grocery budget. In the grocery budget, the utilities, gas, and a lot of bills that they have that are necessary for them to thrive in this country. Yes, I know what others are thinking, especially those who are outside Canada. You're paid dollars here, so it's expected that you have a good pay here, especially if you're a temporary resident only and you don't have housing loans or mortgages to pay yet, and that it should be comfortable enough for you to live here and still send money, for example, back to the Philippines. But for the permanent residents and citizens here, salaries haven't really kept up with the rising costs and inflation. It's sad. And let's go to the second reason. So how do you think would you like to live in a world where your salary cannot keep up with the rising inflation or costs of the necessities that you need on a day-to-day basis? It's crazy, right? But actually it's also what's happening in the Philippines right now. So I can truly understand why some still stays inside this country. But I can really relate to those leaving this as soon as possible, especially if you don't have a good paying job here. Then you might as well just go back to or move to other countries which offer a better price for your labor, for the career that for the service supply that you could offer them. Okay, now here's another reason why I know most of immigrants can relate to, and those who are in the unemployment pool can relate to why they think of leaving the country. Why am I leaving the country? It's the underemployment condition or even unemployment in this country. Don't get me wrong, guys, underemployment is really okay with me, but unemployment is not. It's getting into my head, and it's like saying that I'm not good enough to become employed in this country. And it bothers me a lot sometimes that even if I already sent too many applications, I'm still not selected for the third or final stage of hiring. It's troublesome. Well, not to brag, but in the country where I came from, every time I sent an application, there'd already be a reply, or maybe majority of the replies would be to qualify me for an interview. So it's so mind-boggling that I cannot even get 1% of the job applications that I was able to send. 10%. And I'd like to relate the second reason to the first one, in saying that you are here and you're underemployed and you live in a metropolitan, then you have no choice but to work for 2 or 3 shifts in order for you to be able to cope up with the high cost of living relative to the income that you are receiving. In short, you won't be able to live comfortably because of the mismatch of your employment and the metro that you are living in. And it's the chicken and egg problem again. First, I wasn't really able to believe that many immigrants here, even the permanent residents who are managing to send money to their families in the Philippines, are working not just 1, not just 2, but 3 shifts. How is that even possible? It is if they just do both the second and the third as part-time jobs. But what my point is, it's so crazy, it's so sickening to think about how you still manage to rest, to do your household chores, and then to travel from home to work, to prepare for your work, to work for the 8 hours full-time job, and still have the energy to work for the second and third shift. Don't get me wrong, I was able to work also for the second shift while in the Philippines because of the mismatch of my wants, needs, and my salary there. But it was not as tiring as I could imagine with people here working during the winter season. It's a lot hard with the weather that Canada has. Now we're down to the third reason, which is the healthcare system. I know that most agencies in the Philippines that I have attended to within orientation for international student application have always marketed Canada's health care. And it's true, if you're a permanent resident here, or even if you're just a temporary resident, you can already enjoy having better healthcare system than we have in the Philippines. But for those who were able to live here for a few decades already, they always compare Canada from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, in which they had no problem with the wait time for specialists when they have some health problems that need serious attending to. Also, it's already a struggle these days to look for a family doctor, and so that is also one of the reasons why the healthcare system, they say, is crumbling these days. And there's a shortage for doctors, but their qualification for doctors is so high that it's not easy to source out for those who can work here and become physicians. And that is one reason why there are many who are opting to just live in those areas where they won't wait for like 6 months to 1 year if they need to undergo operations. But I'd like to note that in our country, you may not be able to wait for that long, but you need to pay a lot. You really have to pay a lot for serious medical problems. And if you want to be attended to really well with physicians, then that's double or triple the price in private hospitals. they are like mushrooms in the Philippines. You wouldn't have shortage of one. Even pharmacies are also a mushroom business there. Yeah. Okay. And we're down to the conclusion that I have listed here. So, certainty. The word certainty is what came to my mind thinking about all these reasons why immigrants are leaving this country. There is no certainty with the quality of life right now, especially if you're used to a really good life from your home country. Well, it's not a big issue for me because I've been used to a third world country. But for others, I understand their clamor for, the quality of the degrading quality of life here, the degrading one. And second is certainty of being employed, uncertainty of getting an employment that really match what you can offer to the market or to the company that you're applying for, and then uncertainty for your healthcare. These are three major reasons why you can't trust living in this country already. And I know that the government is doing its best. I hope that the government is doing its best to press the restart button and make Canada better again. No, I'm not sounding like Trump, but yeah, that's my point. I hope that all these immigration policy changes that they have imposed recently will really help Canada become better at these areas again, because for now these are really the main reasons why many are leaving this promising country. Okay, so those are my 2 cents, guys, and I hope I'll see you next time in this vlog again. Please don't, if you don't mind, please click the like button, and you can also share this to your family and friends who just wants to hear my points. I know that they might have already heard this, but maybe I could have some insights that can add to their knowledge. Okay,